right, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as mentioned, jumping right back into it here as we got game number 3. ZOKEN versus Penta. ZOKEN, of course, winning that second game in much more decisive fashion. It's safe to say that last pick, this time the last pick actually ended up being a very good last pick in the hindsight for sure of the Chaos Knight as he took over the game quite a bit. So strong final pick there for ZOKEN. And trying to carry that momentum there. I mean, hell, you could argue they had plenty from the first game, too, despite coming out in the loss. So, seemed like the team that's kind of been in more control overall in the series, but anything can happen in game number 3. And if this tournament tells us anything, it seems like the team that we would at least expect to come out on top. So, they are going to be swapping sides, though, first thing I'm noticing here. And we got Slaughter, our first pick for Penta. Now, Rubik so far coming out for ZOKEN. So, we're kind of swapping heroes on either side, even. They're thinking about the second pick, though, man.
Yeah, they don't want to snap pick the jug.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to see the weakness and arguably the reason Jug fell out of favor. If he can't get 2 items, he really starts to struggle. And Sand King, the follow-up pick here for ZOKEN.
Radiant team ban.
Huh.
Not as usual / strong?
It's not Centaur.
Not Centaur, you're right.
Like, why pick a Sand King when you could pick a Centaur? I mean, I understand the nice things Sand King brings. He had his little time in the limelight. He was really good for a while. But in reality, it's kind of come to light that these games are a little bit slower. More offlaners are getting items over the course of the game because they're dragging out longer. And a Centaur with an egg scales a lot better than a Sand King with anything. So even though the Ags did get nerfed in the last patch, it's still an insanely strong tool. And Penta grabbing this Darkseer here. So the teamfight edge is instantly going to go to Penta here with the Slaughter Darkseer combo. Crush into Backwall is insane. But not a bad opening at all from ZOKEN as far as being able to take fights. A notable absence of a mid laner or a carry on either side in the first 2 picks, though, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
The one thing I will say, we're kind of lacking power picks for the mid lane in the last 3 or 4 patches. There was always something hyper contested. I guess we had Lone Druid for a little while, but I mean there were always heroes throughout history, Quap and Lina and Invoker, that you took them first ban or first phase and that was it. And we're kind of missing those lately. I would like to see, and I don't know if one of them has a great Invoker player, but I'd love to see like an Invoker Nyx combo come out. We saw the power. If ZOKEN could run something like that, it would pair up nicely with their opening 2 picks. They grab a strong right-click and carry to end it out.
Yeah, it could seem like a lineup that is put well together, but there is, as you mentioned, that with the Invoker pickup, it's always kind of one of those, do they have that person that can play it well? And obviously not the easiest if you don't have practice with it. Although in competitive scene, I feel like you need to have that. Like there is really no excuse that you shouldn't have a mid. At least at this, we're getting to this level. I know these aren't tier A teams necessarily, but if you're trying to break in, play in a tournament such as the D2CL, like you should be able to have a comfortable player on such heroes. So
yeah, and to be perfectly fair, even on the less comfortable Invokers, we've seen a lot of times if they just get good Sunstrikes off in lane. They don't have to be a great Invoker player. If you get that huge map influence and you just farm a bunch of items, the level of Invoker skill you have to have is not super high.
Yeah.
But 3 carry bans coming out here with neither team having picked their carries. So this carry pool is going to be diluted a lot. No Lifestealer, no Slark, no Jug. And this is just the comfort pick for ZOKEN, isn't it? I mean, TA all 3 games. And I can see why. They've done very well with it. But they are lacking the Slaughter for the Corrosive Haze, which has helped them out a lot here. We'll have to see if they want to run support Sand King and pick up the Axe here, like they have been. Oh.
Or we'll see Enchantress. Because reasons.
Because Gods cosplay. If you haven't ever Googled the Gods Enchantress cosplay, you need to do that. It's fantastic. I mean, I like the idea of Enchantress, and with Lifestealer being banned out, Lifestealer and Slark are both fairly good counters to it, so you can definitely tell this was a premeditated pick.
Reserve time.
It can do a lot if it gets going early, especially if this is one of those like hybrid off-lane jungle enchantresses. Getting to 1 or 2 items on chant, and she can just explode. Does insane damage with impetus once you get up, like Hurricane Pike and potentially Ags. But there's another one of the good counters. Ursa just shreds through her. And this is the fear in taking it early. Even with max untouchable, you're slowing the attack speed by 130. Overpower adds 400. So,
there, yeah.
I mean, yes, it's going to slow him down. He's not going to pop all 4 attacks instantly, 4, 5, 6, like into you and just insta-give you, but they're still coming out very quick.
We saw Enchantress on the first day of coverage here in a couple of best of ones. Surprisingly enough, I mean, that was just one of those I was like, wait, why are we seeing this? But I will say in both cases, it frankly weighed down the team, it felt like. It was not a good performance in either case. It seemed like it just felt out of place, and there was kind of mixtures like, well, did they want it to be ganking early on, or they would always max out that untouchable, which is great, but I mean, the response was they just want to focus down the Enchantress. You know, they kill everyone else around her, and you know, again, she just felt weak. So I'm hoping for ZOKEN here. Obviously, that's a much different case, but have not been impressed in very recent history, at least, with this hero.
Yeah, I don't like it as much knowing Rubik and Sand King are already picked up for ZOKEN. I think if they had the option to flex this out kind of as a support and pick up the Axe again and then grab a carry, it would be better. But I feel like, again, this is potentially them drafting themselves into a corner here. Because now Penta has 2 different picks to answer this Enchantress. Ursa alone is probably enough to do that. And now all you got to worry about is the mid matchup. And I know Penta didn't look super comfortable on it, but I don't think the Veno was a terrible idea. It could easily be ran again.
Yeah, I could go that here as the middle option with Ursa. I guess that would put him in the short lane then.
I don't think you want to run mid Ursa against the TA. It's just too sketchy. If she waits on the refraction until you overpower, you do 0 damage with the overpower. So, not the greatest mid matchup. It would take like a Darkseer gank to make it okay.
It's going to maybe see about a Wisp pick up, you know, with the Slaughter going the offlane instead, but the Wisp was banned by them initially, so.
Yeah, and then you'd have to run like mid Darkseer. It would be it'd be
true.
clunky.
Yeah, no, it'd be well all over the place. Never mind.
Yeah, both teams didn't really leave themselves a lot of options. Their drafts are pretty telegraphed.
Well, they're spending all the reserve time here later to find that pick, and they end up with Ember Spirits.
Okay, so less overall like damage than the Veno. It's not going to provide the sustained damage the Veno did. But the nice part about this is it's more burst heavy, right? It does a little less overall than the Veno as far as raw damage, but you can shotgun that out, which means the Enchantress's Nature's Attendance, which would have mitigated a ton of the Veno damage overall. You heal that back as it comes in. Now it doesn't matter as much. You just throw 3 remnants on the Enchantress and pop her. Oh boy.
All right, ZOKEN. They're gonna try to win this final game. Essentially, I guess you can look at it a best of 1 now, as we're down to the final game. But they're gonna go with a Necro final pick, the Enchantress. So they're doing something pretty unique here.
So Penta needs Lincoln's quickly.
Lincoln's.
There's not an easy way for Lincoln's to be broken on the side of ZOKEN. You've got to get Rubik in range for something, or you have to bring your Burrow Strike. If Enchantress is in range to get a slow off, she's probably dead already. And if you can just get early Lincolns, it mitigates so much of what Necro can do, because his only break is either an item or Reapers. So I really think what this game could come down to is using Lincolns and Lotus Orbs well.
Well, they got the Necro pick. He does feel pretty strong against the likes of an Ursa. You get him fairly low, and you're able to finish him off as a result of that Scythe right there. So,
yeah, Enrage does reduce the damage, so if he's super quick on the ball, he can mitigate off the Reaper's damage a lot.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. So, I guess.
But it is one of those things. If Reapers takes a while to come down, it takes like almost a full second to actually get the kill off. So if you use it at the very end of the Enrage, you can kind of lock up the last terrifying part of the Ursa pressing R and still get the full damage in. I want to know how ZOKEN's going to lane this, though. we've seen offlane Necro was a thing for a little while, but that would mean carry Enchantress, but the Enchantress kind of bought support items. Okay, this is weird. The Sand King and the Rubik both have boots.
Both have boots. Enchantress, more of a support style build. Is this going to be just heavy roam from the beginning? Like, are they going to give up off lane? Is that a thing?
I think they're going to aggro try. I think they're going to solo safe lane the Necrophos against the Darkseer, because they don't really have the damage to kill the DS or zone him. You don't have that super strong support that can just run at him and put pressure. So they may just give that lane up to the Necro to just be like break even in, and then Enchantress runs in, grabs a jungle creep, and they try to kill stuff in top lane. The other option here is you put the Sand King against the Darkseer 1v1. It's super miserable for the Sand King for about 4 levels, and then it's a lot easier. But yeah, it's this is an interesting opening.
Oh, we'll see where they end up right here as the port coming out from Enchantress immediately to the top lane. Looking to get her early vision down here, but of course Slaughter is already up here as well. He's not smoked up, but he's maybe looking to scout out this Enchantress perhaps. Oh, just out of range of having her pop out. So Enchantress going to hide herself somewhat right here. They have another pause coming out, but is Necro heading towards bottom? Looks like it, yep. He's got the 8 tangos, the 4 iron branch. All about those stats.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd because normally if you're going to do a solo safe lane thing, you'd give that role to your offlaner because they're a little more comfortable in the 1v1 or the suicide type matchups. And it is on the same person they had playing the Juggernaut, that they had playing the Bloodseeker in game 1 and everything. So we'll have to see if he gets support. Like with these double boots start, yeah, you can roam a lot, but top and bottom are a long ways apart.
Yeah. That's what they need to add. They need to add like a tunnel system.
Ew, that sounds awful.
Easy port from the top to the bottom lane, you know?
I think those are called TP scrolls.
It would have a cooldown and everything. But those are for other things.
Then you'd have like half of Reddit saying we league now because Rek'Sai makes tunnels. Or
that'd be a fun hero. I guess, that's kind of like Underlord, obviously, with a longer cooldown, but a hero that like creates tunnels that can allow your team to travel throughout the map fast. God, I'm just thinking up some crazy stuff here. All right. Are you there, Z-Rock? Did you lag out? All right, either Discord bugged out for me again, or I think Z-Rock might have left us for the time being. Trying to keep an eye on that, see if he returns shortly. All right, so out of the pause though. They did get the early ward down on the Ursa right here. Sitting in the bounty room.
experience from it.
Oh, there we go. You back?
Oh, did it DC me for a little bit?
Yeah, you were DC'd for me for a while there. I think Discord's acting up again.
Shocker.
Isn't this why we're using Discord? Because Skype sucks?
I mean, every program sucks.
God. All right, yeah.
That's just life.
Yeah, no, you cut out for a while right there. It's talking about my whole tunnel theory and maybe.
Oh, I was saying Reddit would explode. Half of them would say we're leagued because Rek'Sai makes tunnels.
Well, see, and then a hero creation would be kind of fun on that concept, but
there'd be so much backlash. It'd be hilarious. Okay, so what I was saying is, if Penta had thrown the ward in their own hard camp, I think it could have had merit here because Enchantress wants to steal that hard creep so badly. Instead, they opted to put it in the default position and scout the Enchantress, and it ended up getting dewarded. So we will have to see what route she decides to go with this.
She's got that enchant, level 1, of course. Going to find a Centaur here?
Here's the merit to Sand King grabbing boots, though. He was able to peel that whole wave. Look at the lane equilibrium during this pause.
Oh, yeah.
He walked all the way into lane and grabbed that creep wave and brought it the long way back to his lane.
Yeah, no, they couldn't stop that, so.
Now, if you're an offlaner before this patch, that's like the dream, because now you're level 2. But now you're not level 2.
Oh, that's enough of a change to prevent that, yeah?
Yep. The internal scene was raging pretty badly about it. Like, offlane's considered pretty suffer now. Because I don't know if you casted or saw any of the games. There used to be a strategy on Darkseer where you'd Ion Shell one of your own creeps and Ion Shell yourself, and you would literally go suicide into the wave just to get level 2.
Huh.
And you would just run right up into the creeps, face check them all, make sure they didn't get denied, and then you'd come back to lane level 2 with Surge and Shell, and all of a sudden you're a threat. Then it's tenfold harder to kill you, you get a lot more gold and XP, and a lot of times it was worth giving up a death for. But now, you can't do something like that, or you can't just hide in the trees for one wave and get your level 2 and then the lane's better. It's just, everything gets so much more risky.
Yeah.
Because, like, Sand King wants Caustic here, right? You want Caustic at level 1 on Sand King so you can try to pressure a little bit. But it's pretty hard to not take Burrow if you think you're going to die. And now he doesn't get the chance to do both with the stolen creep wave.
Still efficient to do. Like, it's going to take away from the other side, but, yeah, the fact that he doesn't hit level 2 is unfortunate, no doubt, for him right here. But see how that transitions. We're kind of having the 30-second, intervals here. We got a pause coming out, so it's giving us plenty of time to analyze what's going on here with the lanes and whatnot. All right, it seems like we are going to be good to go now. Hopefully that's the last one. Is there a limit on pauses in competitive Dota?
Yes and no. Almost all tournaments now have a rule that says somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. But, etiquette usually says you don't unpause on somebody.
Well, I was thinking like the amount of times you can pause.
Oh, not like a number of times. Yeah, it's always in duration.
In Han, there was always 3 for either team. It's like no matter what, you wouldn't have any more. So it did make for some awkward moments. Oh my god, no lane. Blazemon almost dying right there. That side blade connected. He's going to run into pain, though. They want to get the last into TA. Yeah, it's not going to happen, though, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Rubik
they could have. Rubik could have just lifted and thrown him back to TA. Disruptor with the counter kill? Oh, Refraction came up.
Yep. No, he's good. Ember Spirit porting back in, but obviously a strong start once again for the TA here.
This just feels like Blaze's MO. Die in the first, 2 levels of the game.
True that. Did that with the Shadow Fiend last game. Oh, top lane actually, Slardar. Getting comboed here somewhat. The Centaur trying to get close enough for a stop, but there's a crush coming out meanwhile. The Centaur, he's just putting in auto attacks. Never mind, not going to get a stop. But the Satyr nuke will finish him off right there. Well played right there with the Shockwave. But at what cost now for Bao Bao? Here on Enchantress, he's getting turn killed by the Thunderstrike coming out from Disruptor. But Sand King being a distraction right here. Burrow strikes through. And Enchantress, thus, is going to survive for the time being. But I think he's going to be run down here. Yeah, one more auto attack does it.
Untouchable yet,
Disruptor goes down. Now Sand King's in trouble again. What is going on here at the top lane? A double kill for Ursa after it's all said and done. All right.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay.
Just kept going.
Yeah, that was chaotic. The Enchantress took Nature's Attendance at 2 instead of Untouchable, which resulted in her death pretty explicitly there. That was unfortunate. Wow. I mean, that Satyr damage is so unexpected when it hits you. Blaze, though. Yet again.
No. Sideblade not connected for the last one. And able to buy his distance right there. Pops the salve. And he'll be fine. But yeah, Enchantress, she's going to be level 3 hero probably. Again, this is what I noticed, though. We saw both of them maxed out that Untouchable initially, let alone get the 1 point in it. It's back to the middle lane. 7 could be in some trouble right here. The Flame Guard from Blazemon trying to tick him down, and obviously with the support will be enough damage. Blazemon got low himself there on Ember Spirit, but at least they get the kill. Happy with that. But he will get level 2 Enchant, so yeah, it's already a little bit different here. He's going more the jungle roam heavy.
And the idea here is now that Ursa has overpower, it's probably not worth maxing the Untouchable. That was really the only hero it's good against, because Ember's damage is mostly magical for the first 20-30 minutes, and everyone else is a caster, basically. This TP is so heavy.
Well, Enchantress going to get caught, and you can tell the miss micro right there somewhat. She herself was kind of running up with the creeps and putting herself in a really awkward spot. So another crush coming out to kill off the creeps. Skitter even comes back in. Pain, though, he does get the kill on the jabs right there, playing that Disruptor in the background, so at least they do get a kill out of it.
It's not where you want your kill distribution to be, though. This Rubik has Arcane Boots already 4 minutes into the game and has 3 of your kills. And when you have a hero like a Sand King that needs a Blink Dagger or a TA that needs lots of items, you don't really want those kills going to the Rubik, but you're kind of taking what you can get right now if you're ZOKEN.
Exactly. It's the case of, you know what, they're getting kills, so that's what really matters, but maybe not necessarily on the highest priority of targets. They're going to smoke up, though, again, so clearly already been a very heavy action-oriented game, and seems like that could continue. Good smoke right here, because it's going to go around this observer ward that was just placed.
Yeah, and if DNZ commits to this kill, it could be a double kill for ZOKEN.
Oh, Seven's going in. Now DNZ is going to look for an opening with that crush, but the kinetic field buying enough time for Blazemon. No, it's not. The attack's just enough damage. Down goes Ember. So Slaughter couldn't really find the best opening right there anyways. At least he saves his own life.
Yeah. And I think the Veil build actually would have been very good on Ember this game, but you always have to wonder at what point do you think it's not going to be worth it anymore. That's a build to press an advantage, to come out very, very explosively when you hit level 10. And at this point, there's been so much pressure on Blaze. He's died twice already. Is it really worth going a spellcastery type build when you're this far behind?
Yeah. Top lane, again, action. We're going to continue. Ursa being locked down by the Centaur. Now Flo's low himself on that Sand King. Needs to be careful. Bao Bao chasing. Now comes the Urshock. Skitter kind of limping away. Barely going to be fine with a phase boots use, and yeah, he will survive. Pop some regen, so actually not afraid to continue at the top lane, but this time will not result in a kill. I want to talk about this bottom lane, though, real quickly, because we haven't even talked about Necro here. He is level 6 now, and he is the top farmer at 33 and 4 CS at least.
Yeah, the Darkseer's keeping pace, though. Only 2 CS apart, and it's a little odd the DS isn't pressuring more. He actually could have put a ton of pressure on this at level 3, 4, 5, where you have double Ion Shells pushing into the Necro, and if one of those Ion Shells is on the Darkseer, you're not going to die without a roam. Like, Necrolight's damage pre-6, Necrofoes, sorry, is really subpar. It's very steady, very calm, very flat. So I think a bit of an uncomfortability with this matchup maybe on the Darkseer.
Yeah.
7, though, a little bit of trouble. No chains.
Chains and TP support coming in from Rubik's and up Blazemon, the one that has to be a little bit careful. As that illusion ring going to pop up right there. Flame Guard is up, going to get lifted back in though, but not really the most follow-up damage, so he'll be fine. Just harassment back and forth continues. Ursa's continued to feel a lot of harassment at this top lane, makes his way back to base finally, and he's going to throw up some regen with the fountain and pour it back in, but he is having a little bit of a struggle at the top, although he is top farm for his team, and as I'm just noticing with net worth at least. So that's kind of a mix of good and bad, I guess. That means the other lanes. But as you mentioned, Darkseer is doing all right at the bottom lane. Despite...
Yeah, Darkseer's doing surprisingly well for... I mean, he's doing well. I think he should be doing better, though. But while he has some farm, it's not going to translate into much because it's being traded out by the Necrophos.
Yeah, I mean,
like, the Necro's getting donated a lot here. And once he picks up this Dragonlance, he's very hard to kill. Kind of an odd first item choice.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is why people bought it when it first came out. Dragonlance used to give 16 to each, strength and edgy, and everyone would just pick it up as a stat stick, no matter what. Now it's down to 12 and 12.
It seems funky on Necro. He's not really benefiting a lot from the attack range as Disruptor goes down top lane. So another find there. Middle lane? No, that just all collapsed.
Yeah, it was a trade. They got Rubik mid.
Oh. Okay, yeah, they did. All right. So 1 for 1.
Yep.
Dire's bottom tower.
But yeah,
I would like to see a mech because I don't see anyone else on this team buying one. Maybe Enchantress, but a mech's going to give you the same type of survivability and be more useful for your team.
Middle lane, Slaughter, or top lane, excuse me. Slaughter is going to be found yet again. Lift him up. They avoid the crush. Well played right there. Just Flo keeping his distance.
They all needed to avoid that crush, too. It took all 3 autos to kill Slaughter there. Otherwise, he would have sprinted out. So, extremely nicely done.
So, it's not that it's a horrendous pickup by any means, but it does seem a little odd of a choice for Necro. But, yeah, the Dragonlance, it will tank him up quite a bit. But my only concern, though, is, I guess, kinda, because the mana regen on him, the mana issues, but with that Death Pulse, as long as he's getting creep kills, let alone hero kills, obviously that's not really a concern.
Yeah, and I would imagine he's going to roll it straight into a Hurricane Pike. He just does not want to die to Ursa. And if he grabs the Hurricane Pike coupled with Ghost Shroud, he's probably never dying.
Oh, yeah, no. That's something
I just would have gone the Force Staff first, though, if that was the idea.
True. And that's something we didn't even really talk about, too, is the presence of Ghost Shroud this game, how it is going to be really good against that Ursa.
Yep.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
it's just kind of odd, though. Ghost Shroud and Untouchable are good against the opposite parts of this lineup. Untouchable's very good against right-clickers, but the only one of those is really Ursa, but Overpower fixes that. And Ghost Shroud, again, only really good against the Ursa.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't the reasons you'd normally see these heroes picked up.
Oh, a nice glimpse back right there to Sand King. They've been chasing 7 this whole time. 4 heroes are here now. They won't even get the kill. Now they're going up here, but Necro's here. He has a side threat to go. He just kind of runs right in, pops a Death Pulse, and he's going to get Penta to try to retreat right now. The trap landing on a Mikey. ZOKEN. I keep saying just ZOKEN because he doesn't have a name. But anyways, Necro chasing though. The Scythe comes out, and they will find the kill on a Mikey. So no Scythe kill, but it is a kill on the Darks here. And yeah, again, they committed right there. They do not come up with the TA kill, and they lose one in return. A lot of time spent there. Not the best.
Yeah, you're seeing the Disruptor getting punished for being level 3 at 10 minutes. He only has 1 point in Glimpse, so really not any potential to make anything happen. I imagine they're going to be feeding him the Tome. Yes, probably. Which is going to get him about a little over a level. But still, they needed that so badly before that.
Meanwhile, Enchantress, going back to her, she actually just finished a hand of Midas picked up right here. So it's going to have that Amp farm. Greed, but honestly, her team, they're in a good spot. Middle tower goes down.
Definitely are. I do not understand maxing Ghost Shroud on Necro. Basically, by maxing it, the cooldown goes down, the duration goes up, the movement slow goes up. But Heartstopper R, when it's maxed, is so impactful. And it's one of those things you don't really notice until all of a sudden you check the combat log and you're like, oh, I took a third of my health through Heartstopper. Like, it's not a guaranteed great Ghost Shroud game, right? It's only really useful for the Ursa. Everyone else is going to be doing magic damage for the most part. I mean, Slaughter doesn't do damage at all, so... Either way, it's just kind of odd out of him. Everything from this game is kind of odd from the Necro.
Just different here, yeah. I mean, I can see where you're coming with that, but like you said, maybe it's just because it's hard to really notice it doing enough work in fights, because I would definitely have the same kind of line of thinking that we see this Necro having for sure. The Ghost Shroud, at least you can see the effect. It is great against that Ursa once again, and the more time, it's just simply going to be, it just feels that much better. And to be fair, though, it is also providing a move slow increase as well. So it's not just the Ursa necessarily. You know, you can run down the TA, and, not the TA, the Sawdar, the Darkseer, even the Ember Spirit, pending a Remnant, of course. So. Oh, TA is going to be jump. Speaking of him this time around, the wall coming out. Not really the best placement, though. Didn't really catch anyone. They will get TA killed, however. And now the route onto Necro. He's going to go for the TP. They did not have a, they do have a stop, though. He can knock it out in time. Now here comes that Ghost Shroud. He's going for the turn, going with the Scythe on the Slaughter. It will be enough eventually. Well, the Scythe's not getting the kill, but in comes the Epicenter. They'll live on Necro, and here comes a turn potential for real. Blazebomb barely surviving. Goes back in with a Fire Remnant. They finally finish off Necro, but now Blazebomb going to go down. Double kill for Pain, bringing the pain here on Rubik.
Oh, man. They would not have even lost the Necro if the Necro got the kill with Reapers. If Pain had gotten that Fade Bolt off that resulted in the first kill there, before the Reapers, Necro's at full health coming out of that. Because of the way Fade.
That's unfortunate, but
huge
still
win either way. And a Midas on the Rubik after this tower goes down. And a Midas in the quick buy for Sand.
Wow. Okay, that's something. I mean, it was one thing to see it on the Enchantress, but on both supports to follow, wow.
I think a lot of this comes down to the fact they saw the Null Talisman in Ember's backpack. If he does go the caster build, the Dire team scales so much better. This game could go to 90 minutes and Penta wouldn't have a chance.
Please no.
So the upshot to the Enchantress Midas here. At level 15, you get 7 Wisps on your Nature's Attendant. You almost double the healing that does. So if they want to run this support Enchantress type play, you essentially have a mobile fountain as soon as she hits 15. Oh, yeah. So the Midas will get her to that a lot faster.
The sustain on this team is ridiculous, because obviously you throw the Necro on top of that.
Yeah, that's why I don't get why he didn't get a mech. Like, more healing is just better.
Always going to be good, it feels like, yeah. This is definitely much more of a greedy choice. Again, the stats to kind of bulk up himself on top of the Hurricane Pike, like he mentioned, to get away from the likes of Ursa and just in general in fights right here. But another item that's also really good on Necro is that Ags, of course, with the Reaper Scythe and making the cooldown that much less.
Yeah, at least they changed the broken mechanic on that. It used to stop buyback, which was borderline asinine. I mean, that was
yeah, no, that was ridiculous. I kind of like what they did now. It's actually bottom lane. Mikey's going to be picked up, and Enchantress will finish him with that impetus right there of the added range. But yeah, the Necro now, where it's just natural in the ability, where it just increases the respawn time on each of the levels. So yeah, plus 30 seconds at level 3 of the ability. That could be definitely so powerful.
Yeah.
The longer lasting game.
Yeah, it can be, and if he opts to go like the Ags into Octarine, you can really get two ults off in a fight, which is very, very nice. Securing a couple kills there and really adding to those respawn times. But I mean, at this point, this just feels more like game 2 than game 1.
What is Rubik doing? Oh no, he's charging in disaster right here. Static Storm comes out, he will fall. I mean, he had the Fire Remnant stolen. He got really greedy though. He has a hand of Midas, I guess.
Why?
Yeah.
How are you ever gonna kill any of them?
He's having some fun. Doesn't get the chance to kill people often with such an ability, I guess. So.
That's the kind of thing where they're like sitting on Discord right now and they're like, all right guys, I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm sorry if it doesn't work, but you know it's not gonna work.
And they kicked him from the team after the game.
Yeah, basically.
See ya, Pain. It's fun while it lasted. No, making definitely a mistake right there, but.
Well, and it even got compounded by the fact that his Midas is up. That's the cardinal sin. And just think, if they all go Midases, how is Enchantress going to enchant creeps? They're all going to be gone.
They're all just dead, yeah. That's a fair argument, too, I guess. So Sand King didn't end up getting a Midas, by the way. He is going 4-staff. And he yields, at least has that queued up. So it is just the 2, actually. Sand King.
Still go it.
Oh, poor Sand King, though. Maybe if he had a Midas there, he lives. No, that's not going to happen. He just simply got caught by that Blink Dagger Ursa, and this is going to transition nicely into a Roshan. And with Ursa, pretty much guarantee this kill, it feels like. Oh my god, no, maybe not. Buyback. All right. They want to prevent this. Well, at least they're going to make them fall back. Don't think they're going to take it themselves, though. They did not have that great of a team on their side for killing Roshan.
It's very slow. TA is really the only one that helps with that.
They're trying, though. Seems a little odd, because yeah, it doesn't feel like ZOKEN necessarily needs. They're kind of just doing it because Penta was. And yeah, they are going to fall back now. So they finally realize, okay, we just do not have the damage. It's not worth the time. So they fall back and back to the farm game.
And sweet.
Continue with that.
Wait, farm game with Midases? No.
Feels weird, I know. Vale finally finished on Ember Spirit, much later than he would have liked, but at least he has it now.
It's 17 minutes. That's like a 9-10 minute item. This feels so terrible. Like, the idea is you hit level 10, you have Vale, you run around and you kill someone with the shotgun damage. But who are you going to kill now? Enchantress has a Dragon Lance done, so she's up to 1,000 health. Necro's tanky. Like, the only burst target's Rubik.
And he finds him right here, kinda. Gonna steal the Flame Guard, though, so that'll bulk him up. And he can't even kill the Rubik. So the Vale.
And that problem's just going to get worse. As these points go up in Nullfield, it's going to make this almost impossible.
That's always an ability you kind of just forget about. I know I do, at least. That's like, oh, that's right. Rubik also has this ability that reduces magic damage by 22% for his team at level 4. Not too shabby.
Yeah, Rubik builds have changed over time. The original build when support Rubik was big was 1 point in Q, you'd max W, and then you go straight into max Nullfield. But in reality, the nukers have kind of faded away from mid. We're seeing a lot more hard scaling later game mids, so not as necessary anymore. And I know there's been scaling changes to telekinesis to encourage more than 1 point. I think at one point the only thing that changed was the cooldown, and so no one really took it ever. But yeah, I mean, ZOKEN's just got a commanding lead in this game. They should be able to just run at the Penta lineup.
I feel like we've said that before.
And it would have mostly worked in game 1, but there were 2 very bad fights.
Oh!
And then game 2 they did.
Including that one right there. He missed the burrow strike. I mean, the blink dagger reaction was nice, but I think that burrow strike hits, and that's a kill.
Oh, definitely.
So, oh, they'll find Disruptor at least, so TA gets a little bit of something there. Be proud about, but Skitter on the Ursa, he'll be fine. He's working on a hand of Midas himself. Or he had that queued up. Okay, maybe not anymore.
Don't do this to me, please.
Oh, it is going to be hand up. No, Helm of the Dominator. Okay. I just read that wrong, actually. Never. That makes a lot more sense.
It's another H item. It's close enough.
I saw the gloves in there and the pattern. I was like, oh, that's a hand of Midas. No, it's a Helm of the Dominator gets finished.
So Roche gets a little bit cleaner now that this Deso's up on TA. You can do the one-man Roche clear, but it's not worth fighting in the pit when they have wall, vacuum, static storm. It's like your one chance to lose a fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But leaving it really low for this Ursa, if he does want to try to go for it.
Yeah,
he's prepping too.
It definitely wants to, and actually just going to jump Enchantress instead. And there's that untouchable. Where's the untouchable? It's level 1. It doesn't matter for Ursa. This goes right on through it. And they get a catch over here on a Necro. That could be a big kill, but nice Hurricane Pike out of the static storm. Chase will continue though. Walls put down. Really want to commit to this kill. Big Pearl Strike stun, but it's not enough to save the Necro. And now Sand King himself is actually in a lot of trouble. Vacuum back in. Flo's in trouble. No Sandstorm to be used. He will fall. If he activated his Epicenter going into that, that could have been interesting, but...
yeah, it wouldn't have really killed anyone. Like, look at how healthy they are.
Yeah.
But he was trying to burrow to peel out for Necro to maybe live, but that was just not going to be an option. He was way too late on the burrow. And now the Age is going over to Penta, so a glimmer of hope on the back of that Enchantress pickoff. This is some serious, like, save your teammate syndrome.
He gets glimpsed back in. That's another kill. Yeah, the Sand King committing right there. It did seem like a lost cause, even in hindsight. Especially in hindsight.
Necro even getting caught there right after the Enchantress died.
True.
You got to pick. You just back up if you're down a man. There's no reason to worry about anything.
Yeah. Keep wanting to save teammates, and obviously ends up being the bane there for ZOKEN. So much for that comfortable lead that they were having. It's
4 kills in an Aegis.
Dipping back down. Aegis Diffusal Blade going to be next for Ursa too. Is that, I mean, to take off Ghost Rod here?
Yeah, I believe so. That's the biggest thing. You used to be able to purge Refraction, but no longer.
Okay, by the way, I want to bring this up. Speaking of Ghost Rod real quickly. I brought this up a couple of months ago, and it's still the case I'm noticing. On his tooltip...
It doesn't say whether it's dispellable or not?
No. It says nothing about him being immune to physical damage. Read the tooltip. Unless I'm missing it, there's nothing about being immune to physical damage.
Unable to attack or be attacked. So he's not immune to physical damage, he's just untargetable.
Okay. Well, I wonder if they added that, because I brought that up before, and a lot of people were agreeing with me that it didn't suggest anything. But you are right. That does suggest, then, that is the case. So, okay.
Okay, we need to watch, though, because this is a reworked hero. I understand I'm supposed to be the smart analyst that knows every mechanic, but I'm curious to know if Starter Crush does damage to him. Because with the way that tooltip's worded, he's not immune to physical, he's just immune to being attacked.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if Crush does damage at some point.
So any physical casted ability, yeah.
Yeah, because there's physical skills out there. TA Dagger, or PA Dagger is another one that's physical, but not an auto attack.
Big catch right here and a couple of heroes. Sand King should fall as well. Yep, that was the vacuum into the crush, and then the wall eventually came out and stacked.
Why are they not just grouping? You have like the filthiest lead ever with this huge team with so much heal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. I will enjoy watching this if Penta makes the comeback, because the double Midas was hyper greedy. Not picking up a mech on Necro was super greedy. Like, and now they're trying to farm and be greedier. This is just so...
They're going to lose another hero. Enchantress, that Untouchable is kicking in quite a bit right here, but Kinetic Field keeping him close enough. And they find him too. So, yeah, they just keep getting picked off one by one. I'm 100% with you, man. It's almost kind of frustrating at times like this watching a team like this. I know we were even talking about it, what was it, the other day. There was the matchups there where you just get a little bit frustrated sometimes, kind of watching some teams. It's like, because you feel frustrated for them. It's they need to be playing to the strengths of their lineup, or they should be if they want to be winning, but they're not necessarily. So ZOKEN falling further and further behind. I mean, they still have a lead, but it's obviously gone down quite a bit now, and Penta is definitely taking advantage of it. Blazebomb, though, here in Ember Spirit, he's still not very threatening. I mean, he has 1,700 gold saved up. They lost a courier, by the way. I didn't even notice that. But he is building a mail strip. He didn't actually get the bots in the end, though. He had that queued up.
You're too far behind. If you go bots, you're trying to split push out lanes and pressure, and I think they understand that ZOKEN should be pressuring right now. ZOKEN should be running at them as 5, and if you went bots, you're more than likely going to lose the fight. Maelstrom gives you a better chance of winning.
The rune of regeneration.
Ursa has that Aegis. Again, pushing out the bottom lane with it.
Not much longer left on it, though. About a minute.
Gonna at least get the secondary tower down here. ZOKEN not interested in picking a fight while that's up especially. No counter push up to the top lane. You do see Necro chose to get the Yules, by the way. Another somewhat defensive tool here. So purging. But bottom lane, they're not going to commit towards tier 3, it looks like. Instead, they want to fall back, maybe try to catch ZOKEN as they're pushing. Or Darkseer middle lane, he's being pinged out. Okay, so ZOKEN just rotating towards the middle now, and yeah, it's kind of been decision time here. I mean, the tier 3 is being somewhat pressured at the bottom a little bit, but Ember Spirit, he'll get out before he gets jumped in. Now there's going to be TP back to the bottom lane, so yeah, a little bit of mind games coming out right there on who wants to do what, but in the end, a little bit of chip damage onto each of the teams. Actually, the tier 3 top was fine. Didn't take any damage. There's the Aegis reclaim.
This is just funny watching this slow collapse here. Like, ZOKEN had this huge lead. They got caught. They had save your teammate syndrome. They lost the Aegis. Then they get caught again, and then they lose another objective. And it's just echoing back and forth through every mistake they make. And I gotta actually give Penta a hand for how well they're taking advantage of these leads they're getting, or these little openings. Because they've always turned one kill into something more.
Yeah, you definitely can't overlook that. As Sauter, he's looking for another opportunity here. Going to find Enchantress. Not the easiest target. Glimpse back. Kinetic field, just not in time, but Ursa doesn't care. 3 shots later, gets a kill. The vacuum wall combination in the background. There is a shrine nearby that's going to be popped. Need to be careful about overcommitting to this. Templar Assassin that was trying to run this whole time. The Remnant's coming in and finish the job onto him. He has a buyback, but he's dead for 70 seconds elsewise. Rubik does not. He's dead for about 40. And they also catch the Necro over here. So again, ZOKEN really just somewhat split up as a fight is picked up right here. Again, the kinetic field going to be late, but Necro, it's just a matter of time before he's picked off. Ursa joins the party. That Diffusal Blade, man, helping so much damage. Triple kill for Skidder. And I think the comeback officially is in full throttle now for Penta, and they're the ones really in the lead at this point.
Yeah, when is the last Epicenter we saw? Have we even seen one this game?
No Reaper Scythe on top of that.
Yeah, we've seen like 2 of those.
Lately, at least, yeah.
It's just been basically they're being big creeps. Like, if you don't use your skills, you're not playing Dota, you're just creeps. And they're not getting themselves in positions to do that because they're taking these fights outside of objectives in these weird positions, and now they really don't have the lead anymore. You can't be comfortable if you're ZOKEN. You really can't.
No. Not at all. And I'm kind of looking at the TA pick a little bit more, and does she really fit the theme of this lineup the best? I mean, she's the pick-off artist, sure, but again, with the Necro, with the Enchantress, it feels like they could have built more of a grouping up and pushing lineup. Something even like a Shadow Fiend instead, rather than...
Alright, so let me position this game a little differently. If Necro goes mech into Blink, and just Blink Reapers someone, TA Blink Meld Strikes them, they die. Then all of a sudden you can start a team fight off right, you can really start pressuring it and really winning the game. But the Necro's item choices have really prevented them from doing that. He went these weird, personally defensive items.
Oh, this is a bit of a bait right here. He had support nearby. Obviously, Reaper Scythe will get the turn kill on a Slaughter. Now Blazebomb realizing that it was a trap all along. He's kind of turning around, slide a fist, and vacuum. It's going to miss, though. Well, back here, though, I'm missing that. Epicenter will be coming out to finally use it. Look at that, a couple of kills. As a result, Skidder now being somewhat kited. And Ursa realizing that he has to get the hell on out of here. Surges up. Allow him to do so. Oh, the chase is going to continue, actually. Sand King, the max range barrel strike, enough for the double kill from TA, and just like that, all of a sudden, ZOKEN feeling pretty comfortable after that fight. And they get the turn kills. Nice bait there.
Wow. Yeah, overextension there from Penta. They have been picking people off for the last 10 minutes. Maybe this is ZOKEN's game plan, right? You give them a false sense of security by getting picked 3 or 4 times, and then you set it up so it looks like they're going to pick you again, but you really have your whole team in the trees.
Totally. That was the game plan, yes.
Yeah, it's totally tactical.
No question, yeah. No, it's they capitalized, though. They played that part well, at least. Well, credit to them for that, and now they're going to push into the base finally. Ursa's dead for 30 seconds, not coming back. Ember Spirit's up in 10. Has one, but obviously doesn't want to use it at this point. So a tier 3 tower, definitely something very possible. They think somebody's hiding there. Darkseer was just a little further back, though. So he is going to go and land a vacuum wall combination. Gets several heroes in the midst of it. The Static Storm as well. Sand King dropping. Hurricane Pike out, but they get caught in against 7, standing his ground. He's in a lot of trouble right here as Ember Spirit jumps to the background, and down goes TA. So Necro, he's trying to run, spamming that Death Pulse heal, I'm sure. He does have a Scythe. He's going to TP out, though, and he will survive. But Enchantress gets pulled back in, but she TPs out in time to survive. So, well played. Oh, the Rubik's
Disruptor had glimpse.
Oh, did he?
And didn't glimpse.
Oh, no.
No.
I thought they had it, or maybe just didn't realize it was coming off cooldown yet.
This is my favorite wall steal ever from Rubik. It makes an X.
Yeah, I just saw that.
It happens so often, and it's just so cool to see. But yeah, no, brilliant vacuum wall. The fight would have actually gotten a little cleaner, but TA managed to get a Hurricane Pike out right before the Disruptor's kinetic field formed. It was so close, but pushing himself on the other side of that, got off 3 or 4 autos before he died. If that hadn't gotten off and she was stuck in the Static Storm, TA would have dropped without doing anything in that fight. But really well taken from Penta. Sure, they lose the T3, but come out really far ahead in that team fight.
Flo whiffed an Epicenter right there. You can't blame him for trying, but he tried to catch the Ursa as he was farming up their own jungle. Yeah, not the biggest deal. Only down for another minute here. But yeah, Lincoln's coming up in Ursa. I know you talked about that. In fact, it's just finished here.
Yeah, huge item for them this game. And if you look, the Necro bought a way to break it, both on the Hurricane Pike, which he's probably never using on a Lincoln, but the Yules. The Yules will help him get through that, which is a nice part there, and they have another Yules on Sand King as well. So a little late at this point. There are ways to deal with it, but still a useful item.
And now he has the axe as well. Oh, they find a kill onto Pain meanwhile. No buyback for him, and transitions nicely into a Roshan kill.
Yeah, no way for them to contest here at all. ZOKEN's got to just give it up.
And a couple of Lincolns coming out here for both Skidder as well as Blazemon. Ursa and Aegis now on top of that. That was just Aegis, right? Yeah, no cheese. Okay. The second kill so far. As bottom lane, Sand King kind of split pushing. Trying to keep the team busy again here at the bottom tower, and Blazemon on Ember Spirit, he'll pick that up. Start pushing it back out, but Sand King gonna still stick around, maybe setting up for the team eventually being here. As he does have a couple of heroes nearby.
Yeah, Ember opted for the Lincolns as well. Got bots and Lincolns before he bought the Maelstrom, saw the comeback coming, decided, you know, I don't need this Maelstrom yet, we're not getting pushed in too hard, we're getting picks. They kind of got punished for it with that, you know, fight right before with the bait, but managed to get that out in line now, 2,500 gold, so the Maelstrom pretty much done if you'd like to commit to it. But you're at the point you got to say buyback.
Well, TA is going to go for a Shrine kill, has that Desolator. Pinging it now, they don't want to give this up. In fact, TP's coming in, Slaughter will get the catch on the TA initially. Turn kill onto him, but now Skidder joins the party, and now 7 wants to run. So that's a much scarier target. The pop onto the Lincoln Sphere right there, pull back on a Flow. He's in Viz, though, and he actually Blink Daggers away before. No, he actually has the Pearl Strike on through. The Blink Dagger was kind of awkward right there. And now Flow's in trouble. He gets caught. Sand King dies, so they get the 1 kill. ZOKEN was trying to run really for that whole time, though.
And more crucial than that, they got the big BKB out of TA. That was the 10-second BKB. You really want to see that get used uselessly, or well, not uselessly, but you want to see it used defensively, which it definitely was there. So huge pickup.
Oh, and TA could still be in some trouble. He's trying to find him. There's the mill, but they
They
know
know.
exactly where he is. Oh, he just needs to
They don't have
crush.
detection
Oh, he
again.
just missed.
Penta, please.
It's like they know where he is, but there we go. The vacuum finally comes out. Now they know, but they don't have detection. That's so awkward. AoE abilities isn't enough. Another crush. Use everything. Get the kill. They finally will. The most awkward TA kill ever. But they make it work. Yeah. And look at that. Oh, no, he buys smoke. Never mind. That was actually on Rubik.
Never refuse.
I was expecting them to immediately buy detection after that.
Radiant's middle tower
They
is
still
under
haven't,
attack.
actually.
Look there.
Oh, Enchantress. It's going to just harass him
Radiant
somewhat. Actually,
structures
DNC the one needs to be careful. Yeah, the Reaper's Scythe. That's a kill. He's dead for 100 seconds all of a
Radiant's
sudden.
middle tower is under attack.
Ouch.
Yeah, buyback becomes even more essential for the Dire team, just because of that
Radiant's
Reapers.
middle tower has fallen.
But it's interesting. If they didn't have detection on Penta, the TA probably gets out. Meld doesn't get broken by stuns, so they really wouldn't have had a way to kill her.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Can they pick the Sand King here on this stream?
They want to. You go back in, force a Burrow Strike at least. Lincoln's popped. On to Ursa, now Zoken.
Whoa.
Gonna retreat away, but the cold pullback onto Necro. He's forced to find out, throws himself in the air. Maybe vice versa, but anyway, somebody did, and now the Burrow Strike on through. Ursa is getting low himself again. He has an Aegis anyways. The Static Storm, they're gonna kill Necro here for sure. He's dead for 70 with the buyback. TA is up in about 10 seconds now. Oh, he doesn't have? Okay, now he does. God, he went from having a buyback to not to having one.
Yeah,
Scary.
very, very on the threshold there. But Skitter still has his Aegis. They're fine to commit and get 1 or 2 kills here for the Aegis.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Apply pressure to that middle tower. Buyback onto Enchantress. Again, Necro's still sitting on his. But that is scary enough for Penta to fall back.
Yeah, you don't have any ults left. I was a bit surprised to see them commit the wall for the Necro kill. It really added nothing to that, but got the kill on him, got the tier 3, forced the buyback. Oh, didn't get the tier 3. Oops.
Yeah,
Just kind of odd and chaotic fights. Like, you saw the Ursa blink there right as Disruptor glimpsed, so mitigated a lot of the damage Ursa wanted to put out.
Gold and sweet.
Communication a little off right there as top lane Ember E gets away before. They jump on him with the Remnant use in the middle lane, and that Mjolnir well in the works
Comforting rune
as
of
well. They know TA's
regeneration.
here. Glimpse use, but he'll blink dagger away before he gets caught. See, Ember Spear wants to keep chasing though. It's not going to get a opening, however, but Penta would love to push that tier 3 again. Skitter still has the Aegis. He's back to full life, so they need to decide. He's kind of in the middle. He wants to push, but the rest of his team is going top here, so yeah, not necessarily on the same page, it feels like.
Slaughter is looking for this, but can't quite make it.
I guess they'll push top instead. Yeah, at least get the secondary tower up here. Jungle up a little bit. There's a Shiva's finish on Darkseer. A great item to have. This Darkseer, man, he really has been. He has more farm than the Ember Spirit, actually.
Yeah, he's huge. I'm curious to know where he goes from here, though. This is the standard Darkseer core. And then it's either like Aghanims or Refresher or Sheepstick.
Radiant's
A Lotus
tower
Orb even,
has
yeah.
fallen.
Yeah. Lincoln's himself. I mean, you can't have too many Lincolns against this Radiant team. You really just can't. Because if you're quick on him and notice who's getting it popped, you in theory can Lincolns every Reaper if you have 3 of them. They're committing so hard on Flow.
Love the Sand King kill, and they're going to get it. Dead for 40, has that respawn talent. So not the longest duration right here, but still an opportunity for Penta to try to make a push now. Although Ember Spirit's picking up the haste rune bottom.
Yeah, he doesn't have buyback on Sand King either. So another pick here would be huge.
What surge is this?
Doesn't look like they're going to really find that, though, as top lane Darkseer, he's going to chase down Rubik. I'll run him down with that Shivas, goes for the TP. They'd have a stopper, yes they do in the vacuum, and that's an easy kill on Rubik. Steals the flank guard, but doesn't matter.
Rubik win an Ags before Blink. Like, I saw it in his quick buy and I didn't think he was actually going to buy it, but he did.
Then he actually did. Yeah, no, that's... Without that positioning, that seems almost silly to have that here. But What's over here, actually? They stopped Necro? Yeah, they stopped the TP, I believe. And so Necro, he's in a lot of trouble. He's probably dead here. Static Storm, that's a kill.
Yeah.
Radiant's top tower is under
He's
attack.
going to make it last as long as possible. I mean, Hurricane Pike away, Ghost Rod. He's gonna even try to take somebody with him, DNZ perhaps.
Middle tower is under
But no,
attack.
he's going to kite away. Flash across the face again. Vacuum wall combo. Trying everything right here. Finally gets the kill. That wall's a little funky. It's on the wall there.
Yeah, going up the cliff.
Under attack.
Cliff, yeah.
Yeah. Some Tron-looking stuff right there. It's just one of the trails.
So nice find there onto the Necro. And again, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger himself, so is unable to really have that mobility for split pushing.
It cost a lot, though. That was your vacuum, your wall, your static storm. Static's pretty much almost back up, but it does feel like you committed a lot to that, and because of that, you can't get any objectives if you're Penta. You're kind of just happy you brought down the big beast and farm up and move on with your life.
Continue to move out here in the middle lane, Blazemon. On the Ember Spirit, he's level 24 now, so almost level 25 means that minus or plus 2 seconds searing chains. Doesn't have an Octarine core yet, and it's still going to be a little bit, but I mean, the
I'm
talent
curious,
alone.
yeah. I'm curious if he goes the chains or if he ends up going the CDR.
Radiant structure.
Like, it used to always be chains, right? But that was because CDR was your level 20 talent.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did move that. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Okay.
They swapped the Flame Guard and the cooldown.
That was this patch then, yeah. Oh, okay.
Now, they did up the amount of cooldown reduction you received to try to, like, make it closer with the 2-second searing chains as far as an enticing option, but...
Let's see, does it actually work with the cooldown on Lincolns then, too? I assume so.
Yeah.
It's just all items in general, so no Lincolns. Lincolns wouldn't be any different there.
Into the dial.
Lincoln's, Mjolnir, bots, Veil, I mean, every activatable they have.
I could definitely see that being picked up. Then I just didn't realize they actually swapped that. So glad you pointed that out there. They get the
Yeah,
Aegis.
so generally, if you're just super terrified of one core that right-clicks, you go the 2-second chains, because you can still keep them very close to permachains with an Octarine, but cooldown reduction is so much more flexible. Just hit her with that Aegis.
Radiant's middle
Brave.
tower has fallen.
Yeah, it's not really a huge reason to be too concerned. So easily get the tier 3 and gonna fall back. Go for the objective now. That is the shrine. They should be able to get both shrines right here before wanting to go back into the base. So Ember got the cheese, right? Yeah, so Ember has the cheese. Ember's with the Aegis. Has an Abyssal Blade queued up, of course. So maybe wants to finish that before actually going for a tower push here. Or a base push even. We're going to farm up the other shrine first.
Never refuse gold. Give it.
I don't know. You're in the driver's seat if you're Penta for sure at this point. They haven't used a good Epi or Reapers in 20 minutes, and I'm not sure giving them more time to use these Midases and grind up is proper option.
And sweet.
Because if this game goes ultra late, I can see Penta struggling. This Ember build does not scale that well with damage. And other than Ursa, you don't do damage as Penta. Slaughter went all utility. Darkseer just doesn't do damage unless he gets a wall on the TA.
So it is hard to finish, it sounds like, then, for Penta here.
I mean, I think they need to finish now.
Okay.
I think the longer this goes, the worse this gets, because Sand King, after Ags, I think he needs BKB. I think, honestly, almost everyone on the Radiant team should be getting one. Because the second you have that up, the only thing killing you is Ursa.
Yeah. And he can only focus one target at a time. Not easy for him to, be doing damage to everyone, obviously, so... Yeah, Enchantress, too, is with that Ags now herself and the Hurricane Pike. Again, I know that with that impetus, that range is pretty ridiculous at this point, and potentially going to be hitting pretty hard in itself, so it's going to have built in to quite the damage threat, too. As bottom lane, they're going to get the catch on Amber Spear this time. Getting maybe Remnant out, not going to have... Oh, he pops a cheese, though. There's one Remnant use, going to go forward. Another one, he's going to go forward again. Rubik's going to try to chase, maybe, but... Don't know if he's going to get close enough to Lincoln's pop. Not enough, and he actually escapes, so the cheese coming into play big time right there. Necro top lane at half life currently, and they do get the kill actually onto Rubik, as he was trying to pursue the whole time. The glimpse pack onto Necro too. So they're probably going to take him out as well. Seven is back here, though, but not much he can do to save his teammate. Meanwhile, they're going back in on him as the epicenter comes out, but that's going to be a death for Sand King, most likely, unless he can maybe blink dagger away. Pops a Pro Strike Force Staff, so he actually will survive. Buyback onto Necro. Well, that's a use that Penta was looking for, and now they're going to retreat and regroup here.
Yeah, we were seeing the lack of damage, though, on Penta's side. The three, I guess, supports, basically, the Slaughter, the Darkseer, and the Disruptor, sat on Necro for 30 or 40 seconds before they finally brought the Cavalry in and dropped him. And if there was ever a team behind him, that fight goes totally different.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so clunky and disorganized from ZOKEN right now, and it's honestly painful to even watch because they had such a commanding lead. They had all the tools they needed to keep pressure up, and their team even scales better. But they're not getting there because they're always farming as ones and twos.
It's definitely a case, yeah, not to act like we're geniuses here by any means, but if you're a team in ZOKEN, and again, you don't get the most exposure with stream play as of late, and this is one of your rare instances, you hopefully they look back at it. Hopefully they take that feedback in and moving forward, because I think it is very good constructive criticism that this whole series has been that way. They managed to win a game, of course, and they looked good doing so. And frankly, they've seemed like the better team overall throughout the series, but yeah, the first game it kind of fell through, and now here in game number 3.
Yeah, and a lot of this. Oh, it's gonna get chaotic.
Well, they get Rubik.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
They get pushed in though middle lane. That's going to be a melee Rax kill most likely. Rubik's not coming back for 60 seconds. Blazebon's dealing with some good damage back here, but manages to remnant out again and be fine. Counter stun from DNC. There's a vacuum wall combination with the Static Storm. Hurricane Pike on one of the heroes on TA, but Necro's still caught in that as well. Sand King will fall, and Necro just simply trying to live. Has that Ghost Ride up. Will be enough to survive off to the side, though. Enchantress goes down. No buybacks to be had on any hero, including the TA, who died in the midst of that. GG's being called. There's the DCs, and you can tell it's a little bit frustrating for sure, but ZOKEN, not enough. And Penta, though, on the other side, obviously got to look positive for them.
Wow.
As they're victorious and moving on 2-1 victory here in the series.
Yeah, there's two things that, I mean, three, I guess, that could cause this kind of thing for ZOKEN. Just overall inexperience in playing in competitive games. The other big ones are not having scrim partners that games go long in. A lot of times, scrim